You're listening to Jet Bets, the gambling podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Jet Bets, the gambling podcast. I'm Brian Stein.
I'm JB.
I'm Charlie.
And we are back. Week 1 is officially, completely, and totally in the books. Some of us had better weeks than others. None of us had great weeks. I went 8-8, leading off the pack. Charlie came in second last week, 7-9. JB, a measly 6-10, but he was the only one that had a lock hit.
These are always weird, to me, because on paper I have a bad week, but in my account I had a good week.
Yeah,
it's just the bets I did place, they went well.
I think
picking every game though, yeah.
that is admittedly extremely hard. I think what we may want to do is, because what I think we've done in the past is essentially what we do is we parlay our 3 or 4 favorite games we're probably going to bet.
Oh no,
on
I already started doing that without you this time. I'm making my own. These are the ones I feel good about.
Okay.
This is the one I want to be judged on.
Okay,
I started doing that for myself this year.
And how did you do?
2-2.
Okay, that's not bad for week 1. That's not bad for week 1.
We still don't know who sucks and who's good yet. So
yeah,
that's pretty.
Yeah,
good.
we got some ideas on who suck.
we're figuring it out though. So we started out with that. Let's just do a quick, very light recap here. What's one thing that surprised you from week 1? I'm going to start with Charlie.
Don't make me go first, but I'll go first.
I'm going to start with JB.
What I think was the most surprising is I think there is actual reason to start your starters in the preseason again. Everybody kept for last years is these are all professionals. They're X-year pros, the highest level professionals in the world. These preseason games are pointless, and I was on that train for a while. But this week kind of showed the ones that played, they're more buttoned up, they're more in sync, they're more a team, I should say.
Yeah.
And there's teams like this, like Denver, who whole new system, whole new quarterback, new people, new players, new head coach. They played nothing in the offseason, and they looked as rusty as you could look on Monday night.
Yeah, I think that was something that I agree with you. Charlie had the stat. What was it that preseason QBs that didn't play? What was it?
QBs that didn't play in the preseason at all went 3-8 this week.
Yeah,
3-8.
I think the lesson to be learned here, and I think you hit the nail on the head at the end of that, JB, is that if you don't play your starters and it's hey, we're bringing things back, you didn't really expect to see Stafford to play, and I get that, short offseason, all that stuff, but I think we were all blown away. One of the worst games was the Seahawks beating the Broncos. It's you have a new head coach, you have a new quarterback, and you didn't play anybody in the offseason, and that was probably a mistake. Now, that's not going to fix the terrible clock management at the end of the game where Hackett really fucked all that up, but it was there's going to be a shift here next year. We're going to see guys playing, and inevitably somebody's going to get hurt, and then it's going to be the circle of life.
Circle of... Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Disney's already coming after us.
Yeah, only 3 words. I think that's the rule. You can have 3 words.
Circle of...
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Charlie, what's your biggest surprise from week 1?
I could go on and on, but I really was the most shocked by the Washington Commanders.
Ooh.
That offense looked really fun. I really enjoyed their big 3 receivers.
Jahan Dotson, baby.
The big 3 from the Big Ten. Is what I'm gonna call them.
I like that. That's
from the
true.
Big Ten.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong.
Curtis Samuel, the Ohio State University, along with Scary Terry, the Ohio State University. Jahan Dotson, rookie stud, Penn State.
Yep, 2 touchdowns. Love that guy.
They looked great. They combined for 4 tugs.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel quietly had a very good game and nobody talked about it.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the guy that got brought over by Rivero. But yeah, I didn't realize they were all from the Big Ten. That's a good call.
Thank you. Big 3 from the Big Ten. Look out for the they're not going to win a lot of games, but I like their offense, and I might take a couple of the overs this year on Washington because I know they have that firepower.
Yeah, they definitely have enough to put up points for sure.
That was the story a couple years ago when Heineke was basically just being the ball slinger. It was just they keep scoring points.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have a again, the Washington is not a playoff team. Would damn near not even call them a good team. But they have a quarterback that's willing to throw it all over the place, and they have 3 receivers that are willing to catch it all over the place. So they could be interesting.
See, so obviously Rivera's a defensive guy. Can either of you name me, I just looked it up, the Commanders' offensive coordinator?
Offensive coordinator. I know their defensive coordinator is I talked about him last week, revenge game.
Fuck, who was it? Who did they play last week?
Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah, it was Jack Del Rio,
Jack
right?
Del
Yeah.
Rio.
I have no idea.
Is he a guy I should know?
No.
Oh, it's a random guy.
Scott Michael Turner.
Okay, I got
Not
it.
to be confused with Michael Scott.
I think he does my taxes.
Yeah, exactly. He was an assistant coach for the Vikings, the Browns, and the Panthers. And son of former NFL head coach Norv Turner.
Oh, wow. From the Chargers.
Yes, from the Chargers. He was there for a long time. Yeah, I didn't realize that, but I was like, we just said that, wow, they have a really good offense. And yeah, shout out to the spawn of Norv. My biggest surprise, I think, was how bad the Cowboys looked. We knew they weren't going to win that game. We knew that the offensive line was starting to deteriorate, but they were a mess. Zeke couldn't. There was not one shining spot from that offense at all. Zeke couldn't get it going. Tony Pollard made no impact. CD had like 2 catches for 11 yards. Their exciting second-round rookie was inactive for the game, and they're starting guys like Noah Brown and some undrafted free agent I've never heard of. Start to finish, I guess Dalton Schultz did okay for a tight end, but start to finish, they're terrible. And now you high-five, you got too hard, you're out for however long. That team's going to suck. That team may finish last in that division, and they may have a top 5 pick. That
would be insane, but also not out of the question.
Yeah, I don't think it's that far off because I think that it's just insane.
Especially no Dak.
Yeah, no Dak is going to hurt them for that competitive division. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's it. We don't need a recap. If you want to listen to more of a recap, go check out Jet Set the Dynasty podcast. That's our fantasy football podcast that JB and I do. We went through pretty much every game yesterday. So check that out if you really want a deep dive into the week 1 that was. Let's jump into week 2 here. So we're going to kick it off with probably the best game of the week on Thursday night.
Got to be
the Chiefs, and you have your phone out. You both do. So
yep.
double check me on my spreads and stuff. Chiefs are 4.5 points. Mm-hmm. They're at home against the Chargers. The total here is 54.5. This is the highest total of the week, I believe.
It is.
Kansas City is 1-3 against the spread versus the Chargers over the last 2 years. That's a little surprising, but we always talk about the value not being there when it comes to the Chiefs. This opened at 3.5 and moved its way to 4.5 within like a day or two. JB, what are you feeling here for this fun game? You're already building your free same game parlay on FanDuel. What do you like here?
So, yeah, Chiefs are usually not a good bet in my opinion because they always seem to be favored. But that's like whenever the Chiefs have lower spreads like this, it kind of gets me interested. Especially the reason that the point just went to 3.5 to 4.5. Keenan Allen's probably not going to be playing in this game. And last week it did show that Justin Herbert is able to distribute the ball without Keenan Allen, without Mike Williams doing stuff. He was getting it to people you've probably never even heard of, if we're being 100% honest on this podcast.
I mean, people we didn't even know of.
Exactly. Nobody knew who DeAndre Carter was
Trey
before
McKitty
this day.
went to Georgia. I knew that, but
I didn't even know he got a catch. Anyway. But on the other hand, I just can't get what the Chiefs did last week out of my head. Yeah. Like, Mahomes looked just as good without Tyreek Hill, like throwing 5 touchdowns, spreading the ball out. I think every receiver had at least 3 catches. Or the main ones, I should say, like the first 4 or so.
I think Sky Moore had like two catches, but like everybody got touches. And everybody.
I'm just so impressed by what the Chiefs did last week, and I do think the Chargers are going to miss having Keenan Allen this week, especially for a whole game going against the Chiefs. So I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs here, -4.5.
Charlie, are you coming off your anti-Chiefs hate?
No, I'm getting this out of the way now. I'm not anti-Chiefs. I love the Chiefs. I have family in Kansas City. If I had a second team that wasn't Steelers, it might be Kansas City.
Okay.
Just because of the family ties.
Sure.
But, and I always say it, they're not always a good value because they're way overhyped most of the time in terms of spreads. I'm taking the Chargers 4.5. Divisional game. It's way more than a field goal. The Chargers are not slouches, and more importantly, the Chargers are not the Cardinals. The Cardinals have so many holes, it's not even funny. The Chargers handled the Raiders pretty well, even without J.C. Jackson, who's probably not playing again this week.
Yep.
Keenan Allen missing would hurt, but if we're going to compare receiving cores, take Keenan Allen away from the Chargers, I mean, what do the Chiefs have?
Chiefs have Juju Smith-Schuster,
Marquez
Marcus Van-Scantling,
Travis Kelce.
Nico Harmon, Travis Kelce,
Okay.
Sky Moore.
Okay, those are a bunch of guys that no one cares about except for Travis Kelce.
And Juju. Put some
Juju
respect on his name.
is a low end 2 on any team.
Feelings are hurt, but go on.
But am I wrong? He's not a guy.
I think he's a mid-end, too. But
Who do you rather have, him or Mike Williams?
Mike Williams.
Okay.
Thank you. I was going to say, like,
Okay.
I don't trust
Easy.
you for a second on not putting Juju up on anything.
Mike Williams. How about the running backs in for the Chargers? They're basically receivers.
That's
They
true.
love throwing to Eckler and what's his name? Little Kelsey. Not Kelsey. Little Justin.
Justin Jackson?
Yes.
I don't think he's there anymore, but Sonny Michel is. And
No. Who's the other running back they have that he
Isaiah
throws to?
Spiller.
No.
He didn't play.
Justin Kelly.
Oh, Josh
Josh
Kelly.
Kelly.
Josh Kelly.
Josh
yeah,
Kelly.
that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Little Kelly is his name. Little Kelly.
Is that really?
Sure. That's what I call him.
Sure.
Chargers plus 4.5, divisional game. People are still figuring stuff out. The total is really, really high. I would love to take the over, but that's a little bit too high for me.
I was really tempted for the under.
Take 4.5.
I'm really torn. So this is the second week in a row that the Chiefs are part of the highest total. You'll probably hear this a lot. Last week, we said it last week, we're tracking it now. The over hit last week, Chiefs Cardinals 40. It was 53.5 and it was 44-21. So that hit easily. I am not going to put a ton of money on this game because I'll use my free same game parlay, but I'm going to take the under. I don't think that the highest over is going to hit twice in a row. I think both of these defenses are still pretty good. I know they're a little banged up, but this is going to be a crazy game.
Can I try to talk you out of it?
Sure, please, because I don't want to take it.
These are probably 2 of the best quarterbacks in football. Both explosive, absolute cannon arms.
Okay.
And you're going to take this as the game where you think that they're going to score not so many points.
I was you last week. I'm just telling you. I was you
Are
last
you talking
week.
me out of it too, JP?
I might be. Because I got scared. Because I thought about the under 2. But I was just like, everything you're saying is exactly what I thought last week. And it was with the worst team in the Cardinals.
I'm not sold on it. I'm prepared to be talked out of it. So this is a great segue to our sponsor this week, Pickett. If you use Pickett, promo code Pickett, Pickett spelled Pikkit, promo code JetBets. You sync your stuff. You sync all your apps. You find all your bets. What I'm going to look at here, because I wanted to use it for this game, because I think this is the hardest game, is to see where the money is on Pickett currently. So currently, 72% of the money is on the Chargers right now. 72% of the spread is also on the Chargers. I'm sorry, 72% of the bets are on the Chargers here. The spread is going towards Kansas City, 52%. And then the under only has 10% compared to the over having over 90% here. So maybe Pickett, and you guys are talking me out of this bet, but I don't love anything about this. I think I'm just gonna take the Chargers in the points. I think I'm on the road with Charlie here. I like the fact that even without Keenan Allen, he looked great. Herbert looked great. I wish Keenan was playing, but he rose the talent of everybody around him. I'm changing from the under. Scratch it off the board. Put the Chargers back on. Plus 4.5. Use promo code JetBets when you sign up on Pickett. It's free. You sync everything. You get free money. This is... I'm just going to take the Chargers because I'm excited to watch this game. I'm not excited to bet on it, and I'm going to leave it at that.
You don't want to be sitting there kicking yourself when this game is like 38-35, and you're like, wow, I really took the under for this game.
I'm going to secretly place an under bet anyways just so I can have it there. But you're right. You're right. When this is a 40-41 game, it's gonna suck. Chargers for Brian. Chargers for Chiefs. Chargers for Charlie. There's too many Chiefs. There's oh boy.
There's a lot of C's.
This has been a long day, guys. And JB has the Chiefs. Let's move to Sunday. The Lions are favorites. They're 1.5 point favorites at home against Charlie's Washington Commanders. The total here is 49.5, which I think is a little high. There have been, since the year 2019 of our Lord and Savior, the Detroit Lions have only been favorites 7 times since the year 2019.
Good for them.
In those 7 games, they are 2-5 against the spread. Charlie, we love our Lions. Are you going to take the home favorite?
No.
No.
Sorry,
Good.
not happening.
Me either.
I would not fault you if you took the over here because these two teams put up points last week. Commanders 28. I think the Lions put up 35. I mean,
35 they did.
So they have the ability to do it. But like I mentioned earlier, I love the Commanders' weapons. Carson Wentz, if he cannot fluff it up, can really put some points on the board. Mm-hmm. So give me the Commanders and walking in there with 1.5 in my pocket.
Joshy.
I don't trust Carson Wentz for a damn minute to put 2 back-to-back good games together. It's like a non-scratch golfer. You can't get 3 shots that go straight in the same time. I don't trust Carson Wentz to have 2 good games in a row.
That's very.
I'm going with the Lions minus 1.5.
Yeah, I'm very scared. What I'll tell you is like it's death, taxes, and Carson Wentz, no matter what uniform he wears, is the exact same quarterback.
Yes.
He looked great last week. He did throw a couple bad interceptions. That was a close game. The Lions look great. I think the Lions, I said this last week, I stole from another podcast, but the Lions can lose to any team in the NFL by 3 points. Like, they'll be close. They'll be competitive in every game. It's going to be tough for them to win. This is going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game. I'm going to take the Lions at home here. I really like what they're doing there. I like Amon-Ra. DeAndre Swift looked great. There's still no Chase Young on the defense for the Commanders. I think that if they're smart, they just take the line. They take the ball and ground and run hard and come out with a win. So I'm going to take the Lions here with JB. Charlie's on an island taking the Manders. Is that what we're going to call them now, the Manders?
I like commies better, but still.
Yeah. Commies is way better than Manders.
Somehow I don't think the commies are going to fly, though. I don't know why. Not in D.C., but maybe I'm wrong.
We'll see.
We had one game between the highest and the lowest totals for the week. The Browns are minus 5.5 here at home against the Jets. Total here is 40.5. The over is 1-4 in Cleveland's last 4 games. Full transparency, that one game was week 1 of this week or of this season last week. They went over in that game against the Panthers. I'll start with this one because I'm going to take the Browns minus 5.5 here. There's still no Zach. I almost said Zach Ertz. There's still no Zach Wilson.
Also, there's no Zach Ertz.
That is true. This is fair. Both
Spot
things can be right.
But yeah, both things can be true. We saw how well, I think Nick Chubb ran the ball and had like 144 total yards. Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns. The Browns know that all they have to do is make sure Jacoby Brissett doesn't lose them the game. And they're going to go up against this defense that even though Robert Saleh is really trying to get things together here, doesn't matter. Sauce Gardner played really well last week in his rookie debut for the Jets. Doesn't matter. It's going to be the run game that's going to make the difference here. I think they win by at least a touchdown, maybe more.
You cannot, as a man, look me in the eyes and tell me that the Cleveland Browns, as they stand, are 5.5 points better than anybody on planet Earth. You can't do it. You cannot do it. And if you do, you're nuts. JB?
I'm basically cowarding between your 2 points because there's a point that Charlie's making that I don't 100% believe that they're 5 points better. But there's also the point that you're making that the Jets fucking stink.
Not only do the Jets stink, Joe Flacco specifically stinks.
I can't believe
he threw 60 times.
I can't believe it's 2022 and Joe Flacco dropped back to pass 59 times in a game. That's just outrageous to me.
He's wearing number 19. That is the ugliest number you can
Yes.
see. Name me the last starting quarterback that wore 19. Somebody tweet us at JetBetsGamble because I don't think there's ever been a starting quarterback in the NFL to wear 19. Maybe Sean Mannion when he started. Did he wear 19 for the Rams when he started during like the Sam Bradford Glass Cannon era? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't even count him.
Yeah, so my whole thing is Jets didn't score 10 points against the Ravens. I'm not 100% sure if they can score 10 points against the Browns defense either, which is worse, I will say, but it's still a pretty solid defense. And also on the flip side of that, I don't see Browns scoring 30 points by any lick of the imagination, so I'm betting the under.
Yeah, and which is a good segue that the lowest
bad games you bet the under.
The lowest total last week was 40.5. It was technically 41.5, and it was tied when we were recording. But I went ahead and took the liberty of just taking because the Bears-Niners game dropped to 40.5 by kickoff. We're counting that as the lowest under, and that did hit. The Bears won 19-10. So yeah, overs are hitting, unders are hitting. I don't know what to believe here. I don't like this game at all. I'm really glad this is.
Yeah, this
stuck in
one's a
one
gross
box.
one.
Do you know the leading receiver for the Browns last week against the Panthers was Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Yep.
And you guys think that, this is the team. They're 5.5 points better than another professional football team.
Yeah, because I think the leading receiver for the Jets was Corey Davis, who stinks.
Who
out
was a
loud, too.
former first-round pick.
We can name a lot of former first-round picks.
Cooper was a former first-round pick, and he had 3 catches last week.
Listen, say what you want. If you want to bet it, go ahead. That's money back in Vegas' pocket they're going to give to me when my bet hits.
I didn't even take him. I bet the under.
Jets plus 5.5. Book it.
Yuck. We got a home dog. First home dog of week 2. Thanks for asking. Last week we checked it. Home dogs went 6-4, so better than average, but not totally impressive. But the Saints are plus 2.5 at home against the Buccaneers. The total here is 44.5. JB's fun fact here. Do you want to read this one off? Do you have?
Yeah,
it
I'll
there?
start this one. My fun fact is I was just looking over just all the stats from week 1. Saints are one of 4 teams that allowed over 200 plus rushing yards in week 1, and that was to Cordero Patterson. And granted, I love Cordero Patterson, but he is not like a top running back.
Also,
in
it
this
was
league.
Cordell Patterson and Marcus Mariota, because I believe Mariota had 79 of those 100, and then he
It wasn't Cordero. Cordero got 120 yards on his own, but
but that is dangerous.
So since you guys don't let me do props for my picks, even though I would if you're a parlay guy like me who likes to add stuff to it, I'm slamming anything Leonard Fournette touches this week. Like any over, anything that has the name Leonard Fournette, and as a bet, I'm putting on it. And I'm thinking he's going to go absolutely apeshit on the Saints. But with that being said, I think this game is going to be it's always so much closer than everybody expects because the Saints always play the Bucs tight. And that's why I am locking this game for the over.
Ooh, you gave me no.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
So I don't expect Tom Brady to be only putting up 19 points again. That's a very rare phenomenon where he's only getting 1 touchdown. Or I think he only got 1 if I remember correctly.
He did.
I don't see that happening again, especially with the Saints defense that is a little bit weaker. But, so I expect so I should say this. I'm getting ahead of myself. I expect the Bucs to be leading, if not for most of this game, all of it. But what I saw from the Saints this week, I was relatively impressed about. Jameis was looking solid, was getting it to receivers. Michael Thomas with 2 touchdowns.
Jarvis Landry
with
100
120 yards. Chris Olave, the rookie, 2-point conversion and a handful of catches himself. I think Jameis had a hell of a game, and especially if we're going to be seeing this kind of Jameis again, just like YOLO Jameis, just chucking it up to people. If this goes into garbage time where they're trying to play catch-up, I could see them scoring points in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
All right, you're on the over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ride the over here with JB.
Let's go.
Ooh.
I'm going to ride the over. I wish the spread was 3.5, not 2.5.
I did too.
If it was 3.5, I would have L-worded the Saints plus 3.5.
I wanted to bet the Saints, but I was just like 44.5. That's low.
You know, Brady has never beat the Saints as a member of the Bucs. He's 0-4.
That is crazy. I was literally just pulling this up because we were talking about it. The Buccaneers are 2-8 against the spread against the Saints over the last 10 meetings. So that's
They
over the
keep
last 5
playing
years.
them close, always.
Yeah, Brady got smoked. Most of them he gets beat by double digits. I mean, the first time he met them back in 2020 it was 34-23. The Saints beat him. Then later that season, 38-3. They spanked him. The Saints beat the hell out of the Buccaneers. Then last season, 36-27. And then December, they won 9-0. That's a weird game.
That is
but
a weird game.
They beat them in low-scoring games. They beat them in high-scoring games. Whatever they have, the sauce, they have Brady's kryptonite, whatever it is. But I'll take the over because I think they're going to put up points either way.
I have a question for the man in the blanket.
That's me.
That's JB. Is the Buccaneers defense better than the Falcons defense?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yes. Are they significantly better than the Falcons defense?
I would say significantly, but we're comparing like a team that has one good defensive player to a team that has much more than one.
I'm going to take that as a yes. So while I too was very impressed by, honestly, I was more impressed by the Falcons' performance against the Saints than
We'll talk about the Falcons.
I
was also impressed with the Falcons last week.
The Bucs defense is going to be a much harder task. Alvin Kamara was bottled up last week against the Falcons. We talked about the success that Jameis had. I think they're going to really struggle getting anything moving against this Buccaneers defense. There comes a point in every man's life when you have to zig when everybody else is zagging. And
The famous last words.
That day is today for me. I know that we just said the Bucs are 2-8 over the last 10 games. The trend reverses this week. I'm taking the Bucs minus 2.5.
I hope you enjoy your L.
I almost L-worded it. You know that?
Ugh, you fucking disgust me.
But I didn't want to step on your toes.
You disgust me.
You disgust me.
I don't know. I don't think we've ever had two different locks, so it could have been interesting.
We have the rule that you cannot lock the same play. We've never had You're right. We've never had a time where you would lock the over and then I would L-word something else in that same game.
Right.
I would love. What if we even did somebody locked the Bucs and somebody locked the Saints?
A head-to-head lock.
That would be dangerous.
Wow.
That would have to be a case bet in between that. I think.
I like it.
That'd be wild. We may have to keep that in the pocket for when we need content.
It has to happen naturally, damn it.
I'll tell you what's not natural. The Giants being favored. They're minus 2.5 against the Panthers this week.
I don't think I've seen this. I don't think I've seen a minus sign by the Jets name since I've started betting.
We're getting to that fun fact. The total here is 42.5 points. The New York Giants are 0-3 as favorites dating back to 2020. That's right. They've only been favored 3 times, and they've lost all 3 against the spread. Also, in all 3 of those games they were favored, the under hit too. Mm-hmm. Something to think in mind. JB, your New York Football Giants are high off a nice win against the Tennessee Titans. Are they about to start a streak here?
I just want to say real quick, I don't know if you guys saw that the play of Tay Crowder just absolutely decleating Derrick Henry. He's a
I did
linebacker.
see that. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
I've never seen Derrick Henry get hit so hard in my life,
Yeah.
and I've watched Derrick Henry since his freshman year of Alabama.
I've
never seen Derrick Henry take a hit like that, especially 1v1.
I think I saw a tweet that said this is Derrick Henry finally knows what it feels like to be hit by Derrick Henry.
I saw that one too.
I think
yes.
which I think was a very accurate statement.
I was just and Tay Crowder is all right. And if we're being honest, kind of a bum.
I didn't know who he was, so
It's kind of a bum, but he freaking clocked him.
Tay Crowder, didn't he play for the Miami Heat for a while?
It's Jay Crowder,
Thank you.
I need a buttons.
the worst 3-point shooter I've ever seen.
I'm
Anyway,
bowing.
I think this, yes, just like Charlie and myself this weekend, when the highs are high and you're feeling nice and turned, it's awesome. But I think that hangover is coming very quickly for the Giants, and I hate to say that. So I love the Panthers getting points this week. I think they're playing real bad hangover ball towards the Giants this week. I think the Panthers played a lot better than anticipated. Basically was a 58-yard field goal away from a rookie kicker that basically had the perfect, I'll make another golf analogy, had a perfect draw kick for a 58-yarder that probably would have been good for 65 at that point. Mm-hmm. It took that absolute phenomenon to get them that win. Yeah, I just think the Panthers are nothing to scoff at this moment, and I think the Giants are still what I thought they were as the Giants.
He's going against his fandom. Are you going to ride with him?
Oh, for sure. Give me the Panthers plus 2.5. I think the Giants are going to be. They won the game. Congrats. Good job, Brian Dable. You did a good job. You did a good thing.
He did.
You got to
And
put
then
your
he
hands
danced
up
afterwards.
Yeah, he did a little dance in the locker room.
Cute.
Nice.
I love Dable. That man was chest bumping grown ass man in pads, just being like, "Let's go."
He's a little dude too.
He is, and I love him. I think they got the right guy.
He's a bald king.
He is a bald king.
But the Panthers. They're getting 2.5. I think they're better than the Giants, so it seems like a no-brainer. Don't overthink it.
So I really want to take the Panthers. I was so close to hitting that lock. I felt really good about the Baker revenge game. Baker started really slow in the first half, which I think we can chalk up to him being there for 4 weeks, not getting a ton of reps. He came back in the second half and looked really good. The one thing that scares me here is that That Panthers run D let Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt run all over them. I'm scared that Saquon is going to do the same thing.
This is fair. That is definitely a fair assessment.
That is my.
They were I was talking about one of the 4 teams that led over 200 yards. They are one of those 4 teams. They were another one.
That is what really, really scares me, because now you're having the best player. You have your strongest strength going up against your weakest weakness, and I don't know if I can ride the Panthers 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to take the Giants here. I don't love it. I don't feel great about it.
Me either.
Yeah.
But
I'm the one with the Giants. I'm the one with the Saquon jersey.
That's fine. I think the Panthers are overall a better team, but they got gashed. They couldn't stop anything that the Browns threw at them last week. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Saquon.
This is unfortunate for me. Spoiler alert: Panthers will be in my picks this week, but I won't actually bet it because I still refuse to bet against the Giants. I just won't do that to myself. I won't watch a game being like, let's not go Giants.
Let's win by less than 3 points.
Exactly. I'm just like,
A game that we're definitely going to be rooting for the entire way here. The Steelers plus 1.5 at home, coming off maybe one of the craziest games I've ever seen as a Steelers fan.
It was definitely the best. Like, I've watched Steelers since 2004, maybe actually 2003. Excuse me. It's maybe one of the most exciting opening weeks I've ever seen as a Steeler fan.
I mean, we had missed kicks, we had blocked extra points, we had pick sixes, we had sack picks, we had T.J. Watt getting hurt, we had Najee getting hurt, we had Joe Burrow come back, great catches by Jamar Chase, everything we wanted out of that game. But that's not what we're talking about right now.
Great catch out of Deontay. Don't forget it because everybody else keeps forgetting about it.
That was a hell of a catch. That was an unbelievable catch.
Nasty.
Steelers are plus 1.5 against the Patriots at home, so they are home dogs. The tied for the lowest total here, along with the Browns Jets that we talked about already. This is 40.5. As much as we love this team, Pittsburgh has struggled against New England. Pitt is 3-6-1 against the spread versus New England in their last 10 regular season meetings. The under has hit in the last 5 of those, so that would follow the pattern here of the unders consistently hitting when they have the lowest total. I want to hear the black and gold heart itself, Charlie. Oh, I should call you the black and gold hearts. Damn it, that was so close.
I was waiting for you to
Damn it. Oh, man.
That's okay. Cut it. We'll
restart the whole podcast. What do you got?
Can you give me that stat one more time? The regular season meetings?
Pitt is 3-6-1 against the spread in New England.
Yeah.
Or versus New England, I'm sorry. Not in New England.
In their last 10 regular season meetings?
Correct.
Do you want to tell me when the last regular season meeting between us was?
I believe it was a year or 2 ago.
Okay. Even if it was.
Guess
you know who's not in New England anymore?
Yep.
We're going to ignore the glaring hole in that statistic?
I wanted to cut off Brian so bad when he was doing this, but I knew Charlie was going to come in hot for this.
What are we talking
There
about
ain't no
here?
fucking Tom Brady left here. There's no Tom Brady here.
Did you know that the Chiefs averaged less than 260 yards passing prior to 2018? Yeah, I wonder why.
The last time they met was September 8th, 2019.
Yep, so guess who's been gone?
And they lost that game 3-33.
Guess who's gone?
This ain't your daddy's Patriots.
This is definitely not your daddy's Patriots. This
No.
Patriots team
It is
looks
still
terrible.
Bill Belichick's Patriots, though.
Oh, yeah, he did great against frickin' Tua. Stinky-ass, candy-arm Tua.
Tua didn't look bad.
Listen, man,
He did his best.
I'm not the man.
He did his best. That was pretty good.
I'm not the man who buys into like the hot take radio stuff. I like to consume that stuff because I think I'm smart enough to be like, I know this is nonsense, but I like to hear other people say it. The one thing I heard that kind of stuck with me, every single game that Bill Belichick coaches is another example of why, like, of Tom Brady being the majority reason why the Patriots were a dynasty. I think that might be a little bit true.
I don't think you're totally wrong here. But sorry, before we jump off that, I dare to even ask, you're taking the Steelers here, right?
No doubt. I wish I could L-word it, but I vowed I would never.
Did you vow that?
I will never L-word
He
the
did.
Steelers.
I remember him talking about this.
I won't do it because it would seem disingenuous to the listeners.
That's fair.
Of course, this guy locks the Steelers. I get it. But if I were you, listeners, I know you're listening.
Because you are listeners.
L-word the Steelers. Home dogs.
Home dogs.
And you know what else?
What else?
Belichick sucks in September. Go back and look. He would treat September as an extension of preseason to get Tom and the gadgets all ready for the postseason. Because he
like
knew, he
that
goes,
take.
we could punt away a couple games. Who cares? We're playing the Buffalo, who stinks back then, and the Jets, who stink still, and the Dolphins, who stink back then and a little bit still. Maybe they're good now.
TBD, yeah.
Come on, what are we doing here? This is I
love
can't believe why is it even like this? I cannot believe it that we're getting a point at home against a team that we're legitimately better than.
The reason why is I think because TJ Watt is out, right? And there's a little bit.
Yes.
There's a little bit. Of, don't roll your eyes at that. He's the defensive player of the year.
No, I'm okay. I will go back to Brian's side on this one. It is a significant thing.
That's
that
a
TJ
significant
Watt will
loss.
be
How
out.
many points is TJ Watt worth?
A lot.
2.5 at least.
I think TJ Watt is almost worth a touchdown at this point. He is such a just absolute game wrecker that without him, I really think a touchdown gets passed.
I think that at least in Vegas's eyes, I think if TJ Watt was here after that game last week, it's Steelers minus 2.5.
I would hammer that too.
I probably would have too.
I'm taking the Steelers too. I as much as I'm giving the shit here, I think that just what you said, Belichick is always kind of a slow starter. I think he's tried to adjust that now because he realizes he can't do that anymore. But Steelers at home, home opener too, plus 1.5. Mac Jones is kind of injured too. Nobody's really talked about that. I think he's gonna play, but his back is all jacked up. So I think that compared with if you were to tell me what's the weakest part of that Steelers defense, either of you, would you say the corners at this point?
Got to be.
And what's the weakest part of the Patriots offense?
Got to be the receivers.
Right. So a negative kind of that cancels out for me, so I feel really good about that.
And this is why I have to bet the under, literally for exactly what you said. I hate to cut you off when you do it, but you made the exact point I was going to make.
That's okay.
It's
That's
just-
fine because I'm taking the Steelers. That's where I'm going. So you're taking the under here. You don't want your
gonna-
boys.
Here's the thing.
Oh.
I have, like Charlie said, I have an obligation to tell this audience what I think the best bet is. And what I think that is both offenses scare me. The Steelers' defense is too good, and the Patriots' defense is okay, but not terrible. But I'm a little bit concerned about the offense. I won't lie, even though Mitch showed some good plays. We've got to see how it goes. So I think the smart bet is the under. I will be just taking the Steelers' money line. Just give me the even money for the money line, and I'll be taking it.
It's scary. I think you're right. The 40.5 is kind of scary. I think that's really low, but you're right. Both of these offenses have not looked good. The run games didn't get going on either side. The pass games really did nothing for either of these teams. They probably had pretty identical
That is one
yardages.
thing. We should say that. One Steelers' weakness these last couple of years is their ability to stop the run. Granted, the Patriots were not able to get their run game going last week, so we'll have to see what happens with this week. But there is a chance that they just let Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson go, and they can utilize that weakness. But I didn't see it week one, so it's a little hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm not that nervous about it.
And obviously the Dolphins' defense is pretty good, but it's not like the Dolphins is going to be a top 5 defense this year, right?
Yes.
They're going to be a top half of the league, but it's not like, oh my gosh, they just got.
Yeah, no, they're not.
They couldn't get going against the best.
They have a
defense in the
good
league.
secondary and a good D tackle, but they're not world-beating defense.
Yeah. So this is going to be a great game. I'm really excited for this one. Charlie and I are taking the Steelers. JB is being smart and taking the under. He pulled out his Yinzer heart and put it back in.
I'll bet with my Yinzer heart. For you, the listener, I will put my Yinzer heart back in my pocket.
It's a weird place to keep your heart, but okay. The Jaguars are home dogs, plus 4.5 against the Colts. The total here is 46.5.
Speaking of teams that look like dog shit the first week,
Jacksonville.
I didn't even have a joke about that. That they just looked bad.
Jacksonville is 5-0 against the spread versus Indy in the last 5 meetings. 47 points or under in the first five, or in the five. You added this. I didn't put this here. 47 points or less have been scored in 5 of the last 6 games between these two teams.
Yes.
So, this is just such a weird game. I'm going to lead with this one. So, I hate this game a ton. This 5-0 against the spread thing is something that last year Brian would have been like, okay, I love this. We're following the trend. I'm zagging again. Give me the Colts minus 4.5 here. They started out slow. Matt Ryan looked a little off. I'm pretty sure he didn't play a ton in the preseason either, although I know he played at least 1 or 2 games. I think the Colts overall are better and more put together. That offense looks great. Jonathan Taylor still at 160-some yards. We saw some struggles with Etienne. We saw Christian Kirk do okay, but Trevor Lawrence still isn't perfect. There's a lot of questions left. I know this is a home-away thing. I'm taking the Colts minus 4.5. I don't know what I meant by home-away thing. I'm taking an away favorite, and I don't love doing that, but I think Colts minus 4.5 is a pretty good bet here.
Home divisional dog, take 4.5. Nothing else needs to be said. Home divisional dog, 4.5. Take the Jags.
total opposite of what I just said. I love it.
Yes. You're a fool, Brian Stein.
I've been called many things, and the fool has been one of those things.
Yeah, and we talked about it, and we said in the fun fact, I was really struggling with this game. I had no idea how to take this because, like Charlie said, like dogs in a divisional game is very enticing, but so I went back to looking at the history of that in this divisional matchup, and that is the one thing I took away recently. It is between those two, it's not very high scoring. So when in doubt, I look to the total, and I'm going to go with the under in this game.
And you're going to feel dirty doing it.
Well, yeah, but I'm not glued to this one.
It's going to be a track meet now.
Yeah,
because you said
it's
that.
going to be 100 points scored.
That'd be what?
I hope you feel good about yourself.
We'll see. I don't feel good about betting any under. I'm just saying.
I took the under on Sunday night's game, and that's the first time I've actually bet an under and watched a game, and it felt really good, but I still felt wrong. I liked the money, though. It was cool. The Ravens are at home. They're minus 3.5 against the Miami Dolphins here. The total is 44.5. As good of a team that Baltimore has been, they're 1-6 against the spread when they're favored by more than a field goal, which they are this week. Mr. Hartz, what are we thinking about this game?
I want the Dolphins, and I want plus 3.5.
That's it?
I mean, I can elaborate, but I think the Ravens got an easy warm-up game with the Jets. They really lucked out that, Zach Wilson to Joe Flacco is not a humongous jump, but it's significant enough to mention. They got to play against a 99-year-old backup quarterback for the first week. On the flip side, I think the Dolphins, it can't be easy playing against Belichick week 1, but they took care of business. I think I trust the Dolphins in a weird way. I trust them and their defense and their weapons more than the Ravens. The Ravens didn't have to really overcome anything. They controlled the game from the very beginning. So Dolphins come out, punch them in the nose, bring them back to reality. Dolphins 3.5.
Joshy.
I'm just going to start by saying this. I was really impressed. I was impressed by what the Dolphins did this week. Tua didn't look great, but he didn't look bad. It was like 270 yards, over 100 passer rating. A very solid game for Tua going against a Week 1 Patriots, which is not an easy task. I think I might be going the over in this game. I think this Dolphins offense showed that they can be rolling on all cylinders. They were getting Waddle involved. They got Hill involved. They were getting the running backs involved. Waddle's the one with the touchdown. Hill was the one with 8 receptions. And I just trust the Ravens. I just trust the Ravens to compete in games at all times. I think the over is a pretty good bet in this one. I think this is going to be a closer game than people anticipate and more of a shootout than people are anticipating.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think 44 is always a weird one because you look at it and you say, okay, the lowest total of the week is 40.5. You're asking for a little bit more than a field goal for this game. When you compare it to the Browns and the Jets or the Steelers and the Patriots, you think, okay, these teams can score, but that's why I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's just whenever I see that under 45 mark, and I look at the two teams, and they are legitimately two good teams, I'm just that's pretty obvious to me.
Oh, it's let's play how Charlie looks at it. I could see this game being 24-28, and that's over, and that's a cover or a win or whatever it may be.
I would say 24-21 is a cover at that point.
No, it would be just under because that's 44.
That's 40.
20. Oh no, 24.
Yeah, because that's 3 touchdowns and a field goal opposed to 3 touchdowns.
Yep, math is hard. I love the Dolphins here, guys. I think that I love two things in this matchup. I love the Dolphins and I love the hook. I know that they're away. They're coming into Baltimore. I was really impressed with what Mike McDaniels did week 1. I think that this team is going to be firing on all cylinders. You can already feel the effects of the 49ers systems on the Dolphins already. I think the Ravens look good, but like you said, it was basically an additional preseason game for these guys as opposed to the Dolphins going up against their one of the best teams. I almost L-worded this game with the Dolphins plus 3.5, but I'm going to hold off just because I think I'm going to find a game that I like better here, but I'm going to take the Dolphins plus 3.5 here.
Welcome to the good side.
Feels good. This is a shocking line here that I'm looking at right now, and we're gonna have to talk about it. The Rams are minus 10.5 after losing to the Buffalo Bills. They're going up against the Falcons, who fought the good fight and covered against the divisional rival Saints last week. The Rams, as most teams probably do, struggle when they're favored by more than 10. The Rams are 1-4 against the spread when favored by more than 10. That dates back since 2020. It shows you how good they are. They've been favored by 10 or more points 5 times
Right.
Since 2020. I'm taking the Falcons in the points here because of that stat, really. I'm not going to zig on this one or zag on this one. I think that there are some legitimate questions around that offensive line of the Rams. Andre Whitworth is gone. I know that the Falcons don't have a great defense, but I think that offense is really something to be concerned about. We didn't see anything from Allen Robinson. We saw nothing from Cam Akers. I think there's a lot of questions. I think this is a get-right game for the Rams, but you're giving me, again, the hook, 10.5. So I can see you coming down, trying to get a field goal to get it within 7, missing an onside kick, and then winning by 7. So I'm going to go ahead and take Falcons and 10.5 points.
I just want to say before I go, I was really impressed with what the Falcons did against the Saints this year, or this first week. And if we just took the Falcons at at face value, we'd be looking at a team with a very mobile quarterback a very versatile running back, a generational tight end, and a top 10 receiver. If you just
a top 10, you mean a top 10 drafted receiver?
Yes, I should say that.
Okay,
Excuse me. Top 10.
I don't think Drake London's top 10 wide receiver.
Top 10 drafted receiver, I should say. Pardon me. If you just presented that without names to a team, they'd be like, "Okay, we're going to be in a game today." And Saints were in a game. It was 27-26. There was a lot of points scored in that game.
They were winning until the end.
I think the Falcons' offense is a little bit more surprising than I anticipated this week. This whole offseason. I just thought the Falcons was a whole reset year, and just waiting for and hoping to get a number 1 pick so they can get a quarterback with Calvin Ridley back, and then they have this whole offense to present to them. This offense is already kind of showing out a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I'm taking the over. I do think what you said is right, is the Rams are going to use this as a get-right game. But I don't think the Falcons are just going to take this game lying down.
Yeah, I don't know if I said this in the start, that 47.5 is the total here, so you're taking over,
and they're
over 47.5.
Yeah, 47.5. Their one absolute fantastic defensive player as the Falcons is A.J. Terrell, and he got smoked by Michael Thomas all week. So I think this is going to be a weirdly high-scoring game.
I have to say,
I could see Rams scoring 30, and definitely I could see Falcons just in garbage time, just using their weapons, using everything they got to at least just try to stay in it.
I got to say, before you give me your pick here, Charlie, that Arthur Smith and that team has done a fantastic job of tailoring their offense to Marcus Mariota, and by then default Desmond Ridder, because they're kind of they're cut from the same cloth, as it were. And Cordell Patterson coming back, seeing him with my own eyes, because I think that was my biggest concern, was this is a 10-year breakout for Cordell Patterson at this point. It took him 10 years to actually be relevant, and he came back and he did it again, and he's proven that this may be a consistent thing. That's what makes me feel really good about the Falcons going in for the rest of the season. The NFC is weak. They could fight for a wild card spot. That might be a hot take.
I won't go that far.
But I think that there's, if that offense keeps going, they might be okay. Your turn. I'm sorry.
I want the Falcons in 10.5 points.
Ooh, friends again.
I have a score prediction for this game.
Ooh, I love it. I'll write it down.
31-23.
Everybody wins.
31-23.
Over hits, we win.
Rams win 31-23. It's going to be 31-17.
16, 17.
Yeah, for a while.
Garbage time touchdown.
Yeah, or maybe get two quick field goals, get the ball back, whatever the case might be. I like Mariota. I think he adds a little bit of a wrinkle with his feet to throw off the Rams defense that didn't look good at all with Josh Allen, who also is a mobile quarterback.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Struggled against another mobile quarterback. I think he had over 75 or almost 80 yards. I think
he had 72 yards on the ground.
There we go. He was the leading rusher for them last week. Could be struggles again. I would struggle to actually believe this, but I bet there's some pretty good value in a Falcons money line here.
Oh, I would not. I do not have the cojones to do that.
I might put maybe a little fiver on
You're
that.
gonna sprinkle.
I might sprinkle
The
that.
Falcons money line.
I'm looking at what it is now. I'm check and pick it using promo code JetBets to tell you what this game is what the best line that you could find for this game would be. But there's something could happen here, guys. Let's not panic. Let's not go crazy, okay? Because this is a really good run team. We're seeing some real struggles. I can't find any actual calendar app here. Please hold. I'm sorry. Oh, there it is.
You're really fucking this up. I'm just saying.
Wow, you're really hurtful. You guys could help.
You're really just ruining.
You can find plus 450 according to pick it here. If you go to PointsBet, if you use the PointsBet app, you can get plus 450. So $10 to win you a cool 45, $100 win you a cool 450. Kind of like the value. Just saying.
I don't.
Need one thing to happen.
You've been making a lot of
to win.
takes where I'm just like, I think you're going to be losing money this week. I'm sorry, bro. But
We're gonna see.
I'm zigging when you're zagging, JB. I don't know what you want from me. A team that's been just zagging and zagging and zagging are the Cowboys. Hurt, injured, no more Dak for at least a couple weeks. Don't know if my zag thing really made sense, but we're going to roll with it. They're home dogs. They're plus 7.5 in Jerry World again, going up against the defending AFC champions, Cincinnati Bengals. Total here is 43.5. I don't think we're going to see any other quarterback come in at this point. It seems like that they're not putting Dak on IR from what I saw. Mm-hmm. So that to me that signifies that they're not going to make a move for Jimmy G, which sucks because I would love to see Jimmy G come in here, win like four to 5 games, and then have them make a decision on bringing Jimmy G or keeping Jimmy G or bringing Dak back. But looks like they're just going to ride with Cooper Rush. We saw a rough start for the Bengals. An appendix-less Joe Burrow struggled at the start. Do you think they bounce back?
I don't care if they do or not, and I'll leave it at that. I don't care if they do or not. I do know that this game's going to go over 43.5 points.
Ooh,
over with
Cooper Rush?
Yeah, with the hobbled Cowboys team.
Guys, this game's going to be 34-10.
So you think the Bengals are just going to be doing
writing
enough
that down,
work?
34-10.
The Bengals have something to prove now.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys defense, say what you want about it, is not the Steelers defense. I
I would say that, yeah.
they have another week to prepare. Burrow again has something to prove. He got clowned, pretty much clowned. I mean, he got 5 through 4 picks, fumbled once, sacked him 7 times. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to come out, lighten it up. It's going to be a lot of points to not enough, but I could also see it being also close. 24-19. That's not enough. 24-20. Either way, I like the over.
I actually kind of like the over too. I'm gonna ride here too. I think that 2 things have happened here. One, obviously, the loss of Cooper Rush, or the loss of Dak has dropped this down. The performance of the team before Dak went down drives this total down, and also the Steelers' defense made the Bengals look like the steel curtain.
Yep.
And I think you combo those things together, it's pushing this total down too low. I think this total should probably be closer to 45. If it's 43.5, I'm going to take the over here because I think you're right. I think this is a perfect storm of pushing and pushing and pushing this down. I'm going to take the over.
I just can't get over not only did the Cowboys look bad, now that they're going to be down Dak, now that the Bengals have something to prove. I really like really good teams that have bad losses always coming back the week after. Last night I took this at 6.5. It was minus 120 for 6.5 last night. I hit it before it went any higher. I was ready to L-word it today, and then I opened the app today. It was 7.5. I go, damn it. So I'm still going to put it in my picks, but this is still Bengals all day. I think the Bengals come in and absolutely bring them to task.
Ooh, use the word bring them to task. I like that. I like that about you. JB, you're on your island. We're getting down to it here. Charlie and I have not locked the game yet. I hope we don't. I don't actually have one labeled yet. It's going to be a gut feel for me, but I hope we don't get down to it when we're both trying to pick the same game.
I agree,
but we'll see what happens here. The Niners are minus 9.5 points at home, hosting a divisional rival, Seattle Seahawks. The total here is 42.5. I didn't have a fun fact for this game because I think that it was impossible to judge what the Niners did last week because that was such a shit show of a game.
I would argue it's almost hard to judge what the Seahawks did.
I mean,
Just off circumstance, they just came up to the moment. I don't know how sustainable that is.
I agree. I think people underestimated the value of that home field advantage. Obviously, I think Geno Smith played to his absolute ceiling. We saw the Broncos really struggle. They weren't firing on all cylinders. That defense didn't look good at all against the run game. The Broncos, I should say. But yeah, this is kind of just like, this feels like a week 1 matchup all over again because you didn't really get to see what the Niners could do under a normal circumstance, and you could say the same about the Seahawks. I'm going to let JB take the floor here because I'm interested in his decision making.
This one's a tough one for me because, like you said, I don't think that 49ers team we saw was an exact representation of what the 49ers are going to be this season. But I also say the same for the Seahawks. So, with that being said, I think the Seahawks are going to score more points than last week, but I also think the Seahawks are not going to score as much points as last week. But I think they're still hot, so I think they're going to have a little bit of momentum going.
Wait, did you say you think they're going to score?
I think the 49ers are going to score more points than next week than last week, and then the Seahawks are going to be scoring less, but I still think they're coming in hot off a big win.
Okay.
This is a whole long way of me saying I think a 42.5 is kind of low for this. I can see the Seahawks still riding off that high and getting a couple good plays in. So I'm going to go with the over, but I'm staying as far away from this game as possible.
Sucks this is a 4 o'clock game.
I mean, that's great. It's a 4 o'clock game. I can easily ignore that game.
That's fair. But you don't get lost in the sauce with it. In your heart of hearts here, Charlie, what do you think?
That's too many damn points. I'll tell you what I think. It's way too many points. Give me the Seahawks plus 9.5, and I have like the little devil on my shoulder, and the little devil on my shoulder is saying, "You idiot! The Niners are gonna have their numbers inflated because they played like dog shit." In reverse, the Seahawks are gonna be a little more whatever because they played great and they beat Russell Wilson and it was a whole thing. So you shouldn't take that. You should do something else. But I know what I saw. The Niners. Oh, the weather was bad. It was bad for both teams.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
The
right.
Bears found a way to get it done with the one of the worst trios of receivers I've ever seen.
Equinemius St. Brown, baby.
Dante Pettis. Who knew he was still in the league?
I didn't know.
He was on my dynasty team in D3 and I cut him.
Did you?
Yeah.
That was not the wrong thing to do.
Right. Give me the Seahawks. Give me the points. It's way too many points. Divisional game. People forget.
People forget.
Give me the points.
I'm taking the Niners minus 9.5 here. I am on the total opposite train. I think that devil on your shoulder might have actually been me because I'm looking at this going, the real reason that the Seahawks look great was because they were able to run all over that Broncos defense, and they were able to pass all over it. They are not going to be able to do that. This is a very, very good run defense of the 49ers. Other side of that, I think the Niners run game is going to just destroy the Seahawks. The Seahawks weren't able to really stop the run except for the goal line for some damn reason. I couldn't understand how they fumbled so many times and got, bend don't break mentality there.
Bend don't break.
But I think this is a comeback to earth game. There are times in week 2 where we overreact to week 1. Oh no, this team is so bad.
You think we overreact to week 1?
That doesn't
who
sound
do you
like us.
think you are?
That doesn't sound like every
saying,
single
saying I'm
producer.
overreacting to week 1. Who are you?
You're overreacting. Your mother's overreacting to week 1. The Niners may win this division. I'm going to say that now because we saw the Cardinals suck.
What a hot take. A team might win. Wow.
I know. I would. You know what? Right now, I would say it. I think they're going to win. They're going to win this division. I think they're going to sweep the Rams this year. I think write
it down.
That defensive line is going to be too much for that the Rams offensive line to handle. This is not about the game we're talking about. But what I'm saying now is that they're going to start off on the right foot just a week late. Give me the Niners minus 9.5. Type, enter. Speaking of the Seahawks game, the Broncos are still big favorites here. They're minus 10.5 against the Houston Texans. The total here is 43.5. I wanted to see. We knew that the Texans did well inside their division, but I wanted to see how they did outside of it. When they're 10-point dogs, the Texans are 5-5 against the spread. So there's no real fun fact here, just that this is going to be pretty much a coin toss, I think. But is this a bounce back for the Broncos, Charlie?
I don't care if it is. I think you're dumb. You're giving me 10 points and I don't like 10 points against anybody. Like, it's literally way too many points. And it sounds like a cheap answer. That's so many points for a Texans team that played really, really well. They ended up tying.
But we didn't talk about that at all yet.
They played really, really well. And the Broncos played like garbage. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make them prove it. Russ has to prove it. If I lose, taking a 10-point buffer in an NFL game, I'll sleep soundly. But until Russ proves it, that's it.
I just did quick math here. There were 6 games of the 16 last week that had a 10-point or more differential in the final score. So the odds are in your favor.
Yeah.
May they ever be in my favor.
I'm with Charlie on this one. That's just too many damn points. Texas looked all right. Broncos could not do anything in the red zone to save their damn lives on Monday. I just don't trust the Broncos yet. It's just too many points. Just 10.5 is so many points. I'm out. Give me the Texans. Did well for me last week.
We haven't had a sweep yet today.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't know. Because our sweeps last week went, I can tell you what they went. I think they went 2-2. So,
okay.
Not bad. Our sweeps were 500. I don't want to. I'm not trying to be that guy, but no, I'm not that guy. This is the first sweep of the day. There was something in me saying, just take the Broncos. Zag when everybody's zigging here. Vegas thinks that they're still that good. Vegas is very rarely wrong. I like the 10. I like the 10.5 even more. This is the second time I'm taking a 10.5 point spread. Give it to me. Give me the Texans. We haven't got to use it yet. This is our first sweep of the day.
Feels good.
Feels good, except for that fucking sound effect. I can say that because I'm the one that finds the sound. I looked long and hard for good sound effects, and I did not find
We could just put a mic to an actual broom. I'm just saying.
Wow, we're a real grassroots program here at Jet Bets.
Yeah. You want to have somebody like with a whistle so when we yell
you just
four,
have me say, sweep, sweep, sweep.
Actually, I think that'd be fun. That'd be more funny if we're being 100% honest. That'd be hilarious.
Honestly, truth serum here. When we just like make the broom noises, that sounds better than that.
Okay, let's just do that from now on.
Maybe that's what I'll just get in like an actual recording studio and just go.
Yes.
That's gonna be
ASMR.
Yeah.
All the sound effects are just done by our mouths.
All right, it's our first sweep of the day here. Let's move on to the last 4 o'clock game of the day that's on the slate here. The Raiders are at home, -5.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Total here is 41.5 points.
51.5.
51. What did I say?
41.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was going to say.
It's a little low.
Yikes.
51.5. Thank you. That's why you...
Hammer it. That's my lock. 41.5.
He said it. He said it. The Cardinals allowed the most passing yards in week 1 against the Chiefs. That might be a little bit of a lead there. JB did that fact. But I'll let you defend it here. Why? You wrote that down. I think I know where you're going to lean here, but tell me why.
It's just, I was doing my research, seeing who had the most passing yards and all this, and I couldn't. As soon as I saw the Cardinals, I was like, oh, they have Devontae this week. That's going to be rough on them. I'm picking the Raiders this week. I think it's a good team that lost week 1. I think they're going to make a good comeback. And I just don't know what to make of the Cardinals right now. But what I do know is their defense did not look good. And one thing that the Raiders looked was very good with Devontae Adams. They just didn't get the win, and Derek Carr kind of threw a couple too many interceptions away for them to win. But I don't expect Derek Carr to be chucking 3 interceptions on a weekly basis,
especially against the Cardinals.
Exactly. So I'm going with the Raiders here.
I'm scared to let you go first.
Why? You think I'm gonna?
Yeah, I do.
You think I'm gonna do it?
Yeah, I think you are.
I am.
Okay, I'll let you do it. You want to say it?
Well, let's talk about it first.
Okay, let's talk
because
about
I have a backup that I also
no.
have.
I also have a backup.
Okay, well then I don't feel bad. But this is what I want to do. I love the Raiders. Mm-hmm. I love the Raiders. I loved them last year. They won me a ton of money, and I love them this year. I picked them to win the division. I'm pretty sure. And when we talked about it,
I can tell you.
I'm pretty sure I did because I love the Raiders. Did I?
I didn't look, but yeah, you did.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm confident you did.
I think I did. I locked them last week, and they burned me a little bit. Mm-hmm. They actually they were plus 3.5. They lost by 5.
They lost by 5, and they had a 2-point conversion attempt to cover.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to secure it.
Right. So I'm not ready to jump off the bandwagon just yet. So I am going to lock the Raiders 2 weeks
You
in a
better
row.
lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
I want to ride the Raiders until the wheels come off, but realistically, I'm going to ride them this week and probably next week. They play the Titans. I'm probably going to take them next week too. Mm-hmm. I want to see if they continue to burn me, if I'm a sucker, or if I actually found a honey hole in taking the Raiders in points.
I don't know what a honey hole is, and I'm scared to ask.
You know what a honey hole is.
I agree with you. I think the only thing that scares me about the Raiders is their offensive line is not very good.
It's the Cardinals.
Well, that's
what
what
I'm about.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is that I too was going to L word the Raiders today. I will gladly hand that to you. The one thing that will keep my mind, the one question I'm going to ask every time I look at a Raiders line is, what does the defensive line look like? What's the pass rush look like that they're going up against? If they're going to go up against somebody that has a pretty good defensive line, that has a good pass rush, high sack rate, I'm going to fade them. That is not the case with the Cardinals anymore. What are we laughing at now? I don't know what happened.
Charlie's playing footsies with me.
I was like, what is happening?
I wasn't going to say it.
Guilty as charged. People also forget Chandler Jones' revenge game.
Oh, although revenge games, I think we're 0-3 last week.
Oh.
Well, look out, week 2.
Got to come back around, right? You got to Zig and Zag here.
Revenge game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders here. This is just 5.5. I think they're going to win by 10. The Cardinals do not look in sync on defense. Their offense looks atrocious. They probably should invest in a receiver that is under 30 but over 5'9", because that seems to be their hole here. They have
Assault.
They have AJ Green, and then they have 17 wide receivers that are under 5 foot.
Andy Isabella had a catch last week. He had one catch for 10 yards.
Can we talk about Greg Dortch real quick? Who the fuck is Greg Dortch, and why is he the leading receiver on this team?
That was
has
very
Hollywood
random.
Brown?
I don't know who that is currently.
He was the leading receiver last week
For the Cardinals?
He had 7 catches for like 80
Oh,
yards.
yeah. Can I double lock this?
Yeah. I'll hit it again for you.
You
If
better
you wanna
lock
hear
it up. No,
Double
you
lock.
You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
That means on the sheet I'm going to bold it and underline it,
Yeah.
so that it's officially a double lock.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. This is a game. This is a football game, and we're going to press on the button because it's a back-to-back sweeps. All right. So now we're in the future. We've just sat through our second week of 1 o'clocks, 4 o'clocks, 4:25s. We've had our hour. I don't know if you guys do this, but this is my life. I sit on this couch behind us, and I do not move from 1 till about 7:30, and then I look to my wife and go, "You ready to go get food?" And then we leave from that 7:30, 8 o'clock, go get our food.
I think that's the
Bring it back.
exact reason why there's about a 45-minute stoppage between games.
I
think it's the only reason.
It's probably like in the Constitution somewhere that nobody talks about. You talk about your First Amendment, your Second Amendment, your Third Amendment rights. It's like the 17th Amendment is that you have to have an hour break of football on Sundays because you need to go get food and you need to be sustained. That being said, we're now in the future now. It is now Sunday Night Football. The Packers are at home, 9.5-point favorites, taking on the Bears, who are coming off of a win against the vaulted 49ers defense. But before we do that, we have to start out with our favorite segment, Sunday Night Fights.
I will preface this by saying neither quarterback has a nickname, so I could make them up, but they don't really have them.
Aaron Double Check Rogers? Aaron Discount Double
Yeah,
Check
but no,
Rogers?
there's not like a true
That's fair.
nickname. I Googled it.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. Welcome to another edition of Sunday Night Fights. In the red corner, standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 227 pounds, age 23, fighting out of Kennesaw, Georgia, by way of The Ohio State University. Justin, the Buckeye Brawler Fields.
I didn't love the nickname, but
Okay, we're working on it. He doesn't have one.
You should have called him the Buckeye.
Justin, Field of Dreams.
You should have called him the Buckeye Dog because he was a Georgia Bulldog first, and then I like that better. It's still not great.
In the blue corner, standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 225 pounds, age 38, fighting out of Chico, California, by way of the University of California. Aaron Ayahuasca Rodgers.
I imagine that's what my eyes sound like on ayahuasca.
He could literally be his dad. Justin Fields beats the piss out of Aaron Rodgers in a fight.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
My man's too quick. He probably got he probably hits a speed bag like crazy. He got he's fast.
We all saw the dive, right? Did you see the water dive that Fields did?
Maybe one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Was
on
gangster.
The
It was like maybe 15 yards. Like that water, he just kept
it was an epic
going.
That epic slide and then the come up into like the flex. I'm just like, this dude looks hard.
Came back up to
I just wish your team was better.
I know, right? Like, give him somebody else. Although he turned Equanimeous into a touchdown score, so that was cool. Yeah, this is a beatdown. Speaking of beatdowns, did anybody actually watch the Le'Veon AP fight?
I did.
Did you watch it?
From beginning to end.
So when did he knock him out? What round?
4th round.
Oh, okay. So how was I only saw the highlight of it. So how did the rest of it go?
I think it was the 4th round. It looked to me that Adrian Peterson at least knew what he was doing.
Okay.
But he was very reserved. He didn't really throw too many punches. He kept his hands up the whole time. If you watch any of the highlights, Le'Veon was moving a lot more. And when he would throw a punch, he would almost bend completely at like a 90-degree angle. Like from
Really?
his hips down. Like he was like a complete right angle when he would throw a punch. I wish you could see me. If we could do a YouTube video, I would demonstrate.
These are on YouTube, by the way. But
he would dip down and like throw a punch, and I'm like, Lev looks like an idiot. Like he's moving quickly and he's throwing these punches and he's landing some of them, but he looks ridiculous. But then sometimes you just find the button.
Yep.
And he found Adrian Peterson's button, eyes crossed, knees buckled. It was an awesome fight to watch. I streamed it on a Fire Stick that may or may not be up to code.
okay.
OSHA wouldn't pass it.
Neither would Jeff Bezos, apparently.
Yeah, but it was an awesome fight. I watched it I watched the whole thing. It was a good fight.
Okay, good. That's good. Yeah, that I figured we should just transition to that because I think you're right. The Sunday night fights would just be an absolute beatdown. Unless there was no drug test before and you let Rodgers come in on ayahuasca and he would just be out of his mind and just
Right.
Eat,
I didn't think Justin Fields was that big. I thought he was like shorter.
I was gonna say I was
6'3".
I was more surprised that Rodgers was 6'2". I thought he would be closer to the 6'4" range, but we learned something today.
Numbers don't lie.
You always learn something on Sunday night fights.
Come on.
I just want to say, I find it every time Aaron Rodgers opens his mouth the last couple of years, I find it fascinating. Like,
oh yeah, he's a fascinating individual.
I don't know what it is, but it's just like every time he speaks, he has like something interesting is going to be
and
said.
especially this offseason, he's been all over. He's on Rogan. He was on. I mean, he's always on. McAfee,
I watched all 3 hours of that. Rogan.
I didn't watch it. I
did.
can't watch any of that
so
Rogan shit.
I was like, I need to listen to all of this.
Was there any big takeaways that like really really surprised you?
No, I just think Aaron Rodgers might be the chillest quarterback like ever.
Oh yeah, I mean,
he was already
from
like
Chico, California.
He was already like dubbed coming out of college as the hippy dippy quarterback, and like
Yeah.
I never like really saw that side of him. And like now, like in his older years, it's just like, oh, he kind of is that guy.
Oh, he absolutely is that guy.
Did you see him on the Sunday conversation with Caleb Presley from Barstool?
I
saw a couple clips of those.
I love those. That one was so cringe. I just couldn't do it.
Dude, so funny.
So fucking
He goes,
cringy.
you have insurance? And Rodgers goes, yeah, I have State Farm. He goes, so what is insurance? And Rodgers looks at him. Is it like drafting a backup quarterback in the first round? just in case? And he just looks at him and Rodgers just smiles and goes, yep. That's all he says.
Oh, he's
It's
the
like
man.
it's funny because like he's in on the jokes, but like he doesn't totally play into the jokes.
Right.
Like he just keeps that.
He's
dry,
off.
just
He's
like,
funny. He's
He
funny like
is
people
funny.
think.
He's
Never
very funny.
once has Rodgers been like, I hate these guys, fuck the media, anything
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's the media that says he doesn't like us, and he always is just like a little bit quippy with everybody.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of funny.
It's his
to me.
personality. I think it's just he's not a warm and fuzzy guy. That's why his family hates him. But yeah, it's
Hey, he took the
wild.
ayahuasca. He said he's much better with his family now.
Post ayahuasca, really? Did the family take ayahuasca too?
Maybe.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I have questions. Let's get back to football. Huh? The Packers are 9.5-point favorites against the Chicago Bears. The total here is 42.5. Green Bay has dominated this meeting. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 meetings against Chicago. That's over the last 5 years.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Who owns the Bears?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers owns the damn Bears.
Oh, I was like, I think it's the Harris family.
No, fuck the Harris Bear. Aaron Rodgers.
Something like that.
There.
Packers
The
minus
points.
9.5.
Packers, huh? Yeah, this is a lot of points though. Are you feeling comfortable with no wide receivers? Maybe Alan Lazard comes back, but you think that's enough to get 9.5 points, Charlie?
I am afraid. Because I'm afraid, I'm just going to take the over on this game.
42.5 is a little low.
Rodgers could pile it on,
Could.
and all we need is the Bears to put together like a little bit of offense, like 13 points maybe.
Yeah,
Would
30
probably
to
do it.
13 would be. Over.
But also, let's consider this. The Bears put up 19 points against the Niners, who allegedly have this elite NFL or Super Bowl ready defense.
Yeah, somebody on this podcast said something about that before. I
Right.
don't know who.
So, is it so crazy to think that they could put up points against this Packers defense who got torched by the Minnesota Vikings?
But we think the Vikings are better than we anticipated. We said that beforehand.
Maybe, but is it out of the question?
It's not out of the question.
This is the first time Rodgers. This will be the least prepared that Rodgers will be during this meetup. Like when he plays
In what way?
in terms of weaponry.
Oh, okay. He'll have the least amount of help.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess that's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
He'll have his cast and crew is not going to be what it
Yeah.
was.
I like the. Yeah, there you go. Supporting cast is
By
lackluster.
far the weakest that he's had. Although I love the running back duo, the
Oh my
receivers
gosh,
are just
yes.
not there. This is my game where I would like to call it my unsung hero that will make an impact in the game.
Okay. This is our whitewater rafting bet.
This is a guy that I love. He torched the Steelers last year in the playoffs for not 1, 2 touchdowns. If you remember,
A Chief.
he was a Chief, and now he is a Bear.
Oh, is it Byron Pringle?
Byron Pringle. Anytime touchdown.
Charlie's writing. I'm writing it down. I'm putting it down on the sheet somewhere.
They don't yet have the odds for that.
It's got to be like plus
800.
450, like
I don't know,
TD.
but they're going to be down points. They're going to have to be in a bunch of spread situations. 4 wide, maybe a tight end, maybe Dave Montgomery in the backfielder. Dave Montgomery? Yeah.
and Khalil Herbert.
What kind of offense did Justin Herbert run when he was in college? Oh, yeah, spread offense.
Yeah, that's legal. Yeah, correct.
Let's go.
That is legal.
Yep. Okay.
You heard it here first. Over 42.5. Also, I'm going to put money on Byron Pringle anytime touchdown.
Okay. You're taking over 42.5. That. Ooh, man. I don't know what I want here. I'm really glad that you just did not automatically go into divisional underdog and just take the plus 9.5.
This is different. The Packers and Bears are a different animal.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Because my heart is falling into the plus 9.5. But I think this is I'm having flashbacks to last year. I wish I could quickly pull this up. I could pause this and go and look it up. But I would love to see what happened week 2 last year after that debacle that the Packers had week 1 last year.
The Saints like pounded them week 1.
Yeah, the Saints pounded them week 1, and then week 2, I think they bounced back and we were like, oh, we're all stupid. Week 2, 2021, Packers
45-30
against.
No, that was their second meeting. I lied.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
35-7. That was the Lions they played after the Saints.
Oh, okay, that's a little bit different, but yeah, but they won 35-17 it was the final score. So, and then they went on to win 7 games in a row. Holy shit! I don't think this team is that team. We just talked about this being probably the worst supporting cast that Aaron Rodgers has ever had. I'm gonna take the Packers minus 9.5 because I don't care about this hook. I think they win by 10. I think A.J. Dillon, this is Sunday Night Football. I think A.J. Dillon and A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones both have 100 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
I don't know. Rodgers was on McAfee today saying we need to get the ball in 28 and 33's hands.
Let me rephrase that. They will each have 100 total yards.
Okay.
They may be rushing and receiving
That's
comboed.
different. Yeah.
They will both have 100 total yards, all-purpose yards, and they will each score a touchdown. That's going to be my same game parlays. I'm going to anytime touchdown those two guys, and just because he has no help. Lazard will come back. I think he comes back this week, but it's too early to tell because we're recording on Tuesday. But that Packers minus 9.5 on the backs of A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones.
Here's a question for the group. Which rookie wide receiver in Green Bay gets their first touchdown first? Dobbs or Christian Watkins? Watson. Damn it, I thought I had it the other way.
There's also
There's a Sammy Watkins and
there's also
Watson.
a Justin Watson too, who's a wide receiver for the Chiefs, but he's not very good either. But he's
Okay,
also-
which one of them two's guys you think puts the ball in the end zone first?
I'm gonna let you answer this first.
I think we go with Watson. Watson just brings that deep threat ability. Like,
But he can't catch a ball.
If he didn't catch that, if he didn't drop the one, it was going to the house. He's not going to
was.
drop every single one.
I think it's Doobs or Dobbs
It's
or
Dobbs.
Scooby Dobbs. I think that he has more trust in Rodgers. I think when it comes to the end zone, I think he's going to look to Dobbs twice before he looks to Christian Watson once. So my money's on Dobbs. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Smart. Very good. Very well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you.
We have 2 Monday Night Football games on week 2.
I don't get this.
And not only that, it is a 7 o'clock and an 8 o'clock kick, which I hate. You're going to make me choose? Well, I'm not going to choose because I'm an adult. I'm a man. I have 2 TVs. I'm going to watch them both at the same time, but I don't like it, and I'm not happy about it. But let's start. We are adults. We follow the rules here. The Bills are at home, coming off that shellacking of the Super Bowl champs. They're 9.5-point favorites against the Titans on Monday Night Football. The total here is 49.5. The Titans did not look good. They lost to JB's New York Football Giants.
Rough.
The Titans are kind of like the Steelers to me here because they there was a couple of years there now, and I think we're hopefully getting past that, where the Steelers really played down to their competition. No matter, it could have been a crappy Browns team or a really good Patriots team. It was always down to a one score no matter who they were playing. The Titans are kind of like that. The Titans are 7-3 against the spread as underdogs. So they're 9.5-point underdogs here. I would maybe try and get this to 10 or 10.5. I think the Titans are just going to accidentally keep this game close. So I'm going to take the Titans minus 9.5 or plus 9.5.
I've tried to stay away from these games. So, we even have the sheet. These are the 2 games before the show I left blank because I do not know how to feel about either of these shows or these games, I should say. I just can't get over what the Bills did last week. They looked like the most impressive team in the entire NFL. They looked unbelievably buttoned up. They looked so good from top to bottom, from pass rush to the secondary without even Trey White, from the quarterback to the receivers, to Devin Singletary actually looking good running the ball. I just can't bet against the Bills until further notice, so I'm going to keep going the Bills.
Can we also mention that, and this you can take this as a pro or a con, the rest at this point for the Bills, they haven't played. They'll have the most rest I think this week. They played Thursday and they're not playing till Monday. That's 10, 11, 12 days. That's a long time. Maybe it's a rest versus rust again, but what side of the coin are you on here, Charlie?
I hate this. The Bills looked like the scariest team on planet Earth last week. I'm wondering if the hype is going to die down and they'll kind of fall back to earth. On the flip side, though, the Titans got beat by the freaking Giants. Mm-hmm. No disrespect, JB.
That's fine. It's fair.
The biggest reason why the Titans lost was because Saquon went 18 for 180 yards and torched them.
And Derrick Henry didn't do well.
We can guarantee, I will personally guarantee, that Buffalo's running backs are not going to do anything of the sort against the Titans.
You can personally guarantee that.
Do you think they're going to? Do they run the ball enough to even let that happen?
I guess not. No.
This is probably the most pass-heavy offense in the league. I don't even know who the running backs are half the time. They're mixing in random guys.
James Cook is going to be good.
1 for 1. Mr. First
I'm
rush
And a
fumble.
fumble.
Can't believe you were the one
Nerd.
that brought it up. I thought it was going to be JB.
Grow up.
My boy.
Welcome to the league, Rook.
Father, help. My boy.
I'm going to take Titans.
Titans.
I'm taking the Titans.
You walked all the way around that. You were like a dog getting ready to sit down. You circled that 2 or 3 times.
I don't think lightning strikes twice. I don't think the Bills have to have a comeback or come down. And the Vrabel's not going to have the Titans unprepared 2 weeks in a row.
You know what would be an interesting stat to see a post blowout factor? How many times has a team had consecutive blowouts? Whatever you want to define a blowout by, but I'd be really interested to see that. I think you're right. I don't think teams consistently blow teams out in the NFL. That happens in college all the time, unless you're Notre Dame, RIP. But
Yeah.
We're not going there. This is an NFL podcast.
Okay, true.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think that it's hard to have that two of those big boom plays back to back. There's two things that I'm going to say that are going to be plus for the Titans. I don't think you bottle up Derrick Henry 2 weeks in a row. And the Bills and Von Miller and that defense was able to tee up Matt Stafford because he's not mobile and doesn't move. Tannehill can at least move around the pocket a little bit, be a little bit mobile.
People forget he's a wide receiver in college.
I watched him run. I saw like one play on Red Zone, and I was like, oh my God, how was he a wide receiver? Who let him play wide receiver? This man does not move like a former wide receiver.
He went to A&M, didn't he?
He did go to A&M.
Oh,
Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah.
Oof.
They also would have
NFL podcast.
NFL podcast. We're not talking about any of that. JB's on an island this time. Bills.
Bills.
Brian and Charlie taking the Titans.
It's a lot of points. I get it. I 100% get it.
Can't hate that. The last game of the night, I think this is an 8-10 or 8-15 from a 7-5 start. The Eagles are 1.5-point favorites at home against the Vikings. The total here is 51.5.
Vegas is so good.
Yeah, I mean,
I have no idea what to do with this game.
These are probably like these two teams in terms of hype from last year to this year are probably two of the most hyped teams I think so far.
Sure. And that ends this week.
Oh, does it?
Well, sure. One of them's going to lose.
Yeah, but I think this could be a 1-point game.
No way.
No?
No. I think the Vikings. I don't even. The Vikings are going to dog walk the Eagles.
Ooh.
I was going to L word this. This is my backup L word.
Was it really?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the Vikings are so much better than the Eagles. The Eagles looked flashy against the Detroit Lions. No disrespect to Mr. Dan Campbell. You put up 38 points and barely beat the Lions. Mm-hmm. Now you have a team that bottled up Aaron Rodgers pretty much, I won't say embarrassed him, but made him look like he was nobody. Mm-hmm. Offense is scary. Defense is really, really good. I don't think the Eagles have a chance. I would take Minnesota minus 5.5.
Ooh.
5.5.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Write it down for next week.
I will. I'll put it down.
I want Minnesota by many points.
Minnesota minus 5.5. You got it. You're gonna get the 1.5 points, and you're gonna like it though. JB, where are we?
I have been dreading this one all day because these are both teams that I do like. Both upper echelon teams. They're not the top of the top tier in the NFL, but they're two ascending teams that I have a lot of good faith in. I think I just might have a little bit more faith in the Vikings right now. Just a little bit. Like, even saying that, I can't say I can't say it with my chest. I can't. But the Vikings are the one getting the points. So I'm just chalking it up to the Vikings and the points.
Can I hear from you guys why you guys are so high on the Eagles?
Go ahead.
So I think Jalen Hurts was good enough to get them to the playoff. I think he's going to improve, especially with a top offensive weapon in A.J. Brown, like he showed with 155 yards. They have the top running game in the league, have a pretty solid offensive line, a defense that continuously added pieces with Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, who they should be freaking starting, James Bradbury, a safety who I'm blanking on his name right now. They just added so many pieces to their offense that I think that they are going to be a very good team this year. But I also think the Vikings are going to be a very good team this year. I was a very big opponent all offseason. Eagles are going to win this division. It's not even in doubt. It's going to happen. Now I think the Vikings might be winning their division now. They are now guaranteed at least a split with their only competition in that division.
Gentlemen, this is the last game of the night. We've only heard the lock noise twice. JB couldn't say it with his chest. I'll say it with my
All right, good. Someone has to. Someone has to.
Lock it up.
The Vikings are fucking legit. I will say, I'm going to say two things. One, everything you just said, if you rewind 15 or 30 seconds here and you listen to everything that JB just said, good run game, elite wide receiver, good defense. If you would have just rewinded enough that you didn't hear who he was talking about, that very well could have been the Vikings. The defense is good. Dalvin Cook is still good. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL today. Kevin O'Connell set these guys up for success. He's unlocked Kirk Cousins. This team is winning the division. This team is the best in the NFC North. There's no doubt about it. I like the Eagles too. I like what they're doing. The Vikings are a tier above whatever the Eagles are doing right now. Jalen Hurts didn't throw a touchdown last week. They had 4 rushing touchdowns. 1 from Jalen, 1 from Kenny Gainwell, 1 from Boston Scott, and 1 from Miles Sanders. You might say, but look at this run game. It's so good. This Minnesota Vikings defense held Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon under 50 yards each last week. They are set up to defend the Philadelphia Eagles perfectly. Daniel Hunter's great. Jordan Hicks had 15 tackles, almost 15. He had 14 tackles last week. Harrison Smith is still really good. It's the ghost of Patrick Peterson. That's fine. That may be the one thing to try and to figure out how are they going to stop and how are they going to cover A.J. Brown. I don't care. This you said plus 5.5, plus 6.5 for me.
Let's go.
6.5.
I would take this. I may tease this up by just to 6.5 to see what the odds are because I love it. Give me the Vikings. I'm locking it. I'm excited for this to be the last game of the night because I'm going to win a ton of money on it. It's going to set up my week for success.
I think it's cute that we each had the same lock and the same backup lock.
You said that, and I started smiling. I was like, "Oh yeah, we're on the same page here today." We had a lot of overlap this week.
Yeah,
that's okay, but
we're dialed in.
We are dialed in. I'm feeling good about it here. Oh man, that one got me fired up. I had no idea what I was going to pick before. Like I sat down, I was like, "Okay." I almost awarded the Dolphins because I like the hook. I love the Raiders here. I love the Vikings. I love this slate. I'm really excited about week 2. Let's wrap up with our final piece, our final segment of the night.
Parsnip, sleep, partner. Parlay? That's the one. Parlay.
Come get us, Disney. Let us know we made it. Come on. JB, yours is in the sheet already, so I don't have to type it in. Would you care to go?
Yep. So my 4 short 4 this week, ultimately known as the foe for show.
4!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm starting with the Saints Bucks over. I still think this is going to be a shootout of a game. I think 44.5 is a little too low. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the Bengals minus 7.5, destroying the absolute brittle mess that is the Cowboys right now. Panthers plus 2.5. I hate betting against the Giants, but it just makes too much sense for me not to put it on. Last one I kept putting this off, but I think I'm going to go with one of our sweeps. I think I'm going to go with the Raiders minus 5.5.
Ooh, baby. I'm a little scared.
I didn't know where to go, but I'm going to trust the boys. I'm trusting the boys.
Lean into the Raiders, baby. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You got the Raiders, you got the Panthers, you got the Bengals, you got the Saints and the Bucks over. Good for show. We got a catchy name this week, Charlie.
Sure. I love a good dog. Mm-hmm. Last week, divisional dogs parlay went 2 for 3 because of the Raiders. 3 for 4 if you added the Steelers in, which like I told you to do.
Yep, legally. Yep.
So take that for what it is. This is going to be the every dog has his day.
Ooh, the every dog has
one
his day.
game every day, Thursday, Sunday, Monday.
Let's see.
Your Thursday dog, take the Chargers plus 4.5.
Dog.
Your Sunday dog, you want the Dolphins plus 3.5. And your Monday night dog, the easiest money of the week, Minnesota plus 1.5.
I love it. You did what I did last week. Mine lost on the first day, but the Rams did not cover.
Not this week, baby.
Parlay, but
not so fast, sweetheart.
Not so fast. I have not had a fancy name for this one. I like my all-day parlays, but I think I'm just going to line up here. I'm taking my lock, the Vikings. I'm taking Charlie's lock, the Raiders. And then I'm going to just take a big spread here because this is, I feel probably the best about this. I'm going to take the Falcons plus 10.5. I really like this. I think that's too big of a spread. The Raiders are going to win this, the Rams are going to win this for sure, but I really feel good about the Falcons covering because their offenses look pretty good. I usually only give 3 leggers here in these parlays. You guys like your 4s most of the time. I'm going to switch it up here, and I'm going to add a 4th leg here.
Do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm guns to Terry. I'm going to take this. No, I almost said the Steelers, but I'm not going to do that to the people. I'm going to add in the Browns minus 5.5 here, too.
Ew.
I know.
I wish you would.
I knew you didn't like it, but I'm going to do it anyways. This Jets team is bad. This Jets team is just flat out bad, and the run game is just going to run through this Jets team. So I'm taking the Falcons, taking the Raiders, taking the Vikings, Taking the Browns.
What happens when they stack
Browns.
the box and don't let them run? And they have to throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones and the rest of the
and Amari
funky
Cooper,
funk bunch.
Pro Bowler Amari Cooper.
How did he do last week against the Panthers?
They didn't need him because they ran for 200 yards.
Oh, they didn't need
so
him.
do you
Okay.
think they maybe tried to stack the box and then maybe just didn't work
Oh.
because they're just that good? I don't know.
maybe.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know how these things work, but -5.5, they win by a touchdown.
Okay.
I think that's everything I have written down on this Google sheet.
We did it. We did it again.
We did it again. I wonder what we finished last time because it was pretty close. We're at 1:35 now. I hope you guys like the long ones because you're just going to keep getting them because, God, we love football and we love betting on it. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at JetBetsGamble. We're also on YouTube. We're doing at least one video a week plus the podcast going up there as well. So we're getting some traction now. We got 5 subscribers now. This is pretty good. So we're slowly growing. We just started putting out content a month ago. So 5 subscribers is good. Podcasts are up there too. That's great. Like I said, Twitter, rate, review, subscribe. We've all got gambling buddies. I've got 2 in this room. You probably have 2 in your room on Sunday. You'll say, hey, I listen to this podcast. You should too. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, tweet at us, have fun. NFL's officially back. We're in full swing. Week 2 is upon us. Let's go win some fucking money.